Welcome to Inside Rangers Football. I'm your host, Brain Freeman, with Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. The Rangers are 5-0, 2-0 now in 27 6A play following a 54-0 win over East Central this past Friday. Coach, obviously the score says it there, 54-0. Offensively, defensively, very good this past Friday. How impressed were you by your team's effort?
Well, I thought our defense really stepped it up. You know, we call an explosive play, any runs over 12, any passes over 18 yards. We're always talking about winning explosive plays. Our defense didn't yield a single explosive play. I think we had 12 on our offense, but our defense consistently kept them from having explosives, created short fields. Our kicking game played well, and then our offense, after a little bit of a rough late first quarter, kind of got untracked, and we're able to win big, as you mentioned, get a lot of kids in the game, and go into the open week with momentum.
You mentioned the play of the defense. That is your second shutout this season. You held the Hornets to just a shade over 100 yards for the entire game. You forced 3 turnovers. Looking back at the last 4 weeks or so after Hendrickson got some things going on offense, how well has your defense played?
Well, I think pretty well. You know, Hendrickson's a very talented team, and even though we held them down point-wise, they certainly had their moments. And Steele obviously has a lot of talent, and our first 2 series against them were not stellar. But all in all, I think we've been very consistent. I think we're plus 5, 6 on turnovers on the season, so we're getting some takeaways, which is big. And we're playing well on the special teams too, to create field position. So our offense has benefited from that.
Speaking of the offense, and you alluded to the big plays that your defense limited East Central from having, well, offensively for you, you had several big plays, nearly 500 yards of offense against the Hornets, and you did that by averaging about 10 yards per play this past week. How smooth was the offense against East Central?
Well, we didn't turn it over, which is always big. We did, as we said, benefited from great field position. Well, we had some explosive throws. We've certainly had a few of those this year. I don't think we've had quite that many in the same game. We start off with the big play on the first play of the game, and they crowded the line of scrimmage, tried to do some things, take away our running game, which had been so effective for us the week before against Steele. So it was good to see that, okay, if you're going to do that, then we need to shift to this part of our offense. And then it's one thing to say that, it's another to be able to execute and pull it off. So I thought our offensive line had perhaps their best game of the year. We were able to do what we needed to do, what we wanted to do.
Well, the record would say that you're pleased with where the team is so far this season, 5-0. Heading into the bye week, are things where they should be?
Well, coaches are never too satisfied. They're always looking for something that we can do better, and clearly there are. But 5-0 is as good as you can do after 5 weeks. So and 2-0 in district, this is 2 weeks that we were one of the 4 that win, and there's always 4 in our tough league that's going to lose. So, we're where we want to be. We are not to the level to get where we want to go yet, and our players recognize that, and that'll be a big focus for us in the open week.
Again, Smithson Valley, a lot of big plays this past Friday in a 54-0 win over East Central. Let's take a look at this week's Plays of the Week.
Let's go take a look. First play of the week is our first offensive play from scrimmage. After a short punt, you can see that our offense has great field position on the 46-yard line, and we open with a play-action pass. As the play unfolds, you can see Levi Williams faking a pitch out to Mark Franco, a play that we run a lot, moves the defense towards their sideline, and then we run a bootleg. We have a Dorzell Hunter on the lower part of the screen running out in the flats, and Ricky Rios running behind and above him. And we're isolating the defender with the circle around him. In this case, he covers a Dorzell Hunter, easy throwing lane to Ricky, big throw and catch, and then we get a block from Bobby Palamine at the top of the screen and Trayvon Merrick-Woodard at the bottom. Makes one guy miss, picks up those 2 blocks, and takes it in the end zone, and 56-yard touchdown to begin the game. That's about as good as you can do to start the game. From the end zone, you can see a play from a slightly different look. You can see as the snap happens, we're pulling everybody to the left. The line's actually blocking to the left, faking the pitch out to Mark to the left, pulling the defense that way. Then as the play goes, there's a Dorzell on the right. Here comes Ricky into the screen right there. You see those blocks. You see Trayvon's block up the field there. Ricky takes it all the way to the house to get the game going our way. The second big play of the week is a defensive play. We'll focus a little bit on Brady Chubb. You can see him snugged in there behind the umpire from his safety position. As the play gets started, We get some pretty good pressure on the quarterback. Brady sees the quarterback's eyes, going to throw the ball down to the other side of the field and gets a great jump on the ball, then elevates and gets an interception. And again, our offense is going to get tremendous field position from the turnover. From the rear of the offense, there's Brady. We're going to get good pressure. We're going to focus on Patrick Elliott, one of our senior defensive tackles. Patrick's going to force the quarterback to throw quickly. You see great pressure there. He has to throw off his back foot, doesn't get much on the throw. Then Brady elevates, gets the interception, stops their drive, and gives us the ball in great field position that we go in and score. Last play of the week is a touchdown pass. Two receivers are highlighted at the top of the screen. Trayvon Merrick-Woodard at the very top, and just inside of him is Ricky Rios. And they're going to play a high-low game on those two defenders. You can see the cornerback is very, very tight coverage. The safety is very loose, but to the inside of the field. So the natural void in the defense is deep into the sideline. And that's what we're able to do. 3 steps into his drop, Levi looks at the short man. Trayvon is covered, but Ricky has space up top. Gets enough time, gets the ball away. Ricky made a nice move on the safety, froze him to the inside, broke it to the flag for the touchdown. From the rear, you'll focus on the pass protection. That's Ronald Copney, Mike Hausler, and Alex Schaefer blocking on our left. To the right of the screen there you see John Bauer and Jesse Clifton giving a nice pocket for Levi. He's able to squeeze it off, and look at the distance between Ricky and the safety, just how good that move is. He ran away from him, hauls it in around the 10-yard line and runs it in. And those are our plays of the week.
Well, Coach, 2 of them involved Ricky Rios, 3 catches over 100 yards this past Friday. He's been a big playmaker for you throughout the season, the game-winning touchdown against Hendrickson, and he had the big touchdown going into halftime against Steele. This for a player who last year was at safety. How impressive has he been this year making that position change?
Well, he's been very impressive, and it's not an easy thing to do. Our offense, particularly at the receiver position, is pretty multifaceted. We ask those guys to wear a lot of hats, line up a lot of different places, perform a lot of roles, and Ricky has done extremely well. There's a reason we moved him there. We felt like he could, and you may or may not have noticed last week we began to transition him back to playing some safety as well in some nickel situation, long yardage. So he had some snaps on that side of the ball too. He's had some big kick returns. He covers kickoffs for us. So kind of like Trayvon Merrick-Woodard and Mason Pierce, you know, we're trying to squeeze those 3 and get as much out of them as we can. And Ricky has stepped up to the challenge.
Again, Smithson Valley now 5-0 on the season, 2-0 in 27 6A play. Coming up in just a bit, we'll preview the Rangers' next game against Wagner. But coming up after the break is this week's Senior Moments and Little Men. Back with more Inside Rangers football in just a moment.
Summerhill Dental is your partner in getting a better night's sleep tonight. Our appliances are a proven solution to stop snoring and sleep apnea. No CPAP, no surgery, not so scary.
So this is it, huh?
Yep, this is where it all starts and finishes.
Joe Pavelek, Jeff Shin, Alan Hill, Pat Bailey, Matt Hilson, Clint Haney, Cody Fuller, Eric Anders, Garrett Smith, Andrew Sendejo, Josh Adkins could have dressed in the soccer.
We got work to do, kid.
We're gonna go inside, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna get him on the run, we're gonna keep him on the run, then we're gonna go, 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 go. We won't stop until we're across that goal line. This is a team they say is good. Well, I think we're better than them. So what do you say, man?
Let me give it a try. Making videos is not easy. It's confusing and it's hard work. Well, I'm here to tell you, when your back's against the wall, call Wick Productions. It's who we use for game night scoreboard production and the Rangers Network.
Amazing, Coach. Another perfectly executed shameless plug.
Coach, ready to keep this thing going? All right, welcome back to the Inside Rangers Football Studios. Frank Freeman with Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill. We have a lot of fun of this show, namely with Senior Moments. So here's Emily with this week's version of Senior Moments with the Ranger players.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Brant. Today I am here with Caesar, Dylan, Jack, and Jordan. And you know, Caesar, I heard you've got a pretty cool talent. What is that?
Do this.
How did you figure out you could do that? Oh my goodness. So is that like, I don't even understand.
I don't know.
What is it? Like your knuckle, just like your joints moving?
Yeah, just moving around.
Oh my goodness. Can you give the camera a close-up of that? Does he do that all the time, y'all?
It's the first time.
Oh, he's been hiding that.
I can also do this.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. So Dylan, what do you think the world would be like if animals could talk?
I have no idea.
What do you think? Do you have a dog at home?
I do.
And what do you think he would say to you?
I don't know what she would say. Tell me to let her out, feed her, all the time. Constant attention.
Yeah?
I don't know what else.
You have no idea. When you look at her, does she look like she's thinking anything sometimes?
I don't know. Yeah.
So Jack, you're a senior this year. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
Honestly, probably focus more on school.
Oh yeah? on the learning end of it?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your favorite subject?
Probably math.
Math?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, have you had a favorite math teacher?
Yeah. I really liked Coach Ulbrich and then Miss Blair for geometry and algebra.
Oh, very good. So Jordan, do you think aliens actually exist?
I mean, if they did exist, I would be in a bunker somewhere. I wouldn't want to be outside knowing aliens existed.
So you would be absolutely terrified?
Yes, I would. Knowing that there's some movies about aliens I can't even stand to watch, yeah, I wouldn't be able to bear it now.
So you think that the Hollywood's portrayal of aliens is what they would be like?
Oh, probably even worse.
What if they were really nice and had cool things to teach us?
I'd probably just do nothing to take a roll over.
Caesar, if you could take two animals and combine them to make one really awesome animal, what two animals would it be?
A hedgehog and an armadillo.
A hedgehog and an armadillo. What would that look like?
Pure terror.
Pure terror. Jack, if you had to pick a favorite superhero that was a girl, who would it be?
Probably Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Have you seen the new movie?
No, I haven't, but I really want to.
Looks good. I haven't seen it either. Why do you like Wonder Woman?
I don't know. I think she's like, kind of like Captain America to me, but like, you know.
But like a girl.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's my theory. There's all these superheroes, and some of them get bit by spiders, and you know, some of them get like poison ivy all over them. Superman and Wonder Woman, right? They're like the only two that were born superheroes, right? So, like, she's legit. How often does coffee get whipped cream added to it? An awful latte. That's good, right? All right, well, Caesar, Dylan, Jack, and Jordan, thanks for being here with me today. Coach Brant, back to you.
Rangers!
Thanks, Emily. That again this week's Senior Moments. But I'll tell you what, now it's time for this week's segment of Little Men. And for that, here's Coach Hill.
At Smithson Valley, we place great emphasis on special teams. One of the ways that we try to turn a game in our favor is to have excellent kicking and kickoff coverage to pin our opponent deep, perhaps even as deep as inside of his 20 or 15-yard line, to give our defense a great opportunity to go out and make a stop. Here today is Coach Justin Fierro, our special teams coordinator, and he's going to talk to us about a couple of things that we do with our kickoff coverage in an effort to get this done. So Coach Fierro, take us to the little man board and show us a couple of kickoff schemes that we use here at Smithson Valley.
Sure will. So this is us kicking in white, and our opponent will be receiving on the other end of the field in black or dark jersey colors. Typically, our kicker, we want him to kick it to 2 spots. From this hash, one of our best kicks is just a deep kick on the same side of the field, somewhere around the 10-yard line in this kind of voided area. Another kick we can do is we can kick from the same spot but across the field in kind of more of a shorter general area over here on this side of the field. Without moving all these pieces at once, I will just say that when our kicker kicks off, we want to take all of our guys on the left side and the right side, and we kind of want to funnel them and cover the 2/3 of the field in between my hands so that we can have maximum amount of coverage as we kick the ball down on this end of the field. If we choose to kick it on the other end of the field, the opposite applies. We want to take all of our men and move them and kind of condense the football field in between my hands right here so that we can have as many people in the area to make a tackle as possible.
Let's go to some game tape now and watch the Smithson Valley kickoff team put some of this into action.
So here we are on the field. We can see every player running down the field without my hands in the way. And as our players make their way down the field, here's a good illustration of their general path to cover 2/3 of the field that we would like to kick the ball to. And as we move through another, you can see we leave one guy on the far end on the bottom of the screen just to cover anything that might spill outside, and then we also have 2 guys in the back trailing as if they were second level or safeties for this play. We had a really good kick. The ball gets a funny bounce, and our players run down there to cover the football. Same thing from the end zone. You can really see how the players in white condense to cover 2/3 of the field with our backside covering, I guess you could say, a second level safety kind of area as well with the kicker. You can see in the bottom left of the screen where the ball's about to land, and as the defender has problems covering the football, we recover it, and it's our ball, 1st and 10. Same thing going from the other direction, but we decided to kick a shorter kick. Instead of to the right side of the field, we kicked it to the left side of the field. We use this as sort of a change-up to catch the defense off guard or the kickoff return team off guard. You can see our players in white that are going to be our backside safeties or our second level players as the rest of the team runs down the field to cover the man with the football and bring him down. Here's the same view from behind. You can see with the 2 bars, the bar on the left represents how the return team is trying to defend our typical kick, but if you notice on the left-hand side of the screen, they don't have a lot of players there to catch the kick where we want to kick it right into that circle on the left. Same thing here. You can really see how our players in white condense to cover 2/3 of the field, and our backside players kind of drift behind everyone else just in case they might get a good kickoff.
Smithson Valley kickoff coverage, creating great field position for our defense. Thanks, Coach Fierro, for taking us through that. And now let's go to Ranger Trivia.
This week in Rangers Trivia, Smithson Valley is 5-0 heading into the bye week, and next plays Wagner a week from this Friday. Over the last 9 years, what's the Rangers' record in games following their bye week? Is the answer A, 9-0, B, 8-1, or C, 7-2? The answer is B, 8-1. Not only do the Rangers have an impressive record following their bye week, but their offense has been nearly unstoppable, averaging close to 44 points in those 9 games. And yes, the Rangers very impressive after their bye weeks over the past 9 years. Coach, you have an extra week of preparation going into the game against Wagner. What is it about that off week that helps you get ready for your next opponent?
Well, there's about 3 or 4 things we try to accomplish during the open week. You know, a little bit of rest and healing time, so we build in some time away from football. We build that in. We also go at each other. Offense versus defense is the only real full speed work we'll get without a game. And then we tailor some of our preparation to the upcoming opponent. So we get a few extra minutes, few extra hours on that team. So maybe that helps coming out of the bye week. On the other hand, they get to do that for us too. So I don't know that there's an advantage there, but we try to make it an advantage.
And again, the opponent for the Rangers after the bye week is Wagner. We'll talk more about the Thunderbirds coming up next. Back with more Inside Rangers football in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Steve from GVTC, here to install your 1 gig per second internet service.
Hey, you're Ranger Senior Trayvon Merrick Woodard.
No sir, I'm Steve with GVTC.
Come on. Cornerback, kick punt return, wide receiver.
I'll be over here. I'll let you know if I need anything. Just came here to set up your Wi-Fi.
Thanks, Steve.
And welcome back to Inside Rangers Football. Smithson Valley is 5-0 on the season, 2-0 in 27 6A play. Their next opponent is Wagner. A week from this Friday, the Thunderbirds are 3-2 and 0-2 in 27 6A play. Coach, looking at this Wagner football team, as we mentioned, the record, they did start 3-0 for a reason, so certainly there is some talent there. What initially jumps off the page when looking at the Thunderbirds?
Well, they are talented and they're well coached, and then they do some things that are a little out of the mainstream, you know, offensively. For college football fans, Georgia Tech, Navy style of under center option football, which is obviously not something you see a lot of, and you know, to quickly get ready for it when that's not anything close to what you've been defending for 5 weeks, that's tough. And they've got talented athletes to go with it. Similarly, defensively, they are a little bit out of the mainstream. Very multiple, very blitz-oriented, man coverage style of defense. Makes you do something right now, and have trapped opponents for a lot of big play losses. On the flip side, you know, you've got big play opportunities if you can handle that. So we're going to have to spend some time blocking those multiple fronts.
You mentioned the offense for Wagner, that slot T, triple option offense, whatever you want to call it. If you want to have, you know, an extra week to prepare for any particular opponent, would this be it, given just how unique their offense is?
Well, it can't hurt. You know, we're certainly going to spend some time on it. Have to. Some no ball drills. You know, by that I mean, you know, we've got a dive threat, we got a pitch threat, we got a keep threat, and there's no ball in the drill. So everybody can't sneak a peek at where the ball is. If I've got the quarterback, I've got to take him. I've got the pitch man, I've got to take him. If I have the dive, I've got to take him. So it'll look a little funny out there this week in practice, but those are the types of things you've got to do when you defend something like that you just don't see very much.
Everybody is a threat then in this triple option offense when they have the football, but maybe the biggest threat has to be the quarterback, Tobias Weaver. He has the biggest numbers so far on the year for Wagner. Just how tough can he be to slow down? Well,
you know, most of the blocking is arranged for him to end up with the ball. I mean, he has options, of course, but the way most people defend him, the ball's going to end up in his hands. And he's a very effective runner, makes real good, quick decisions on whether to keep, give, pitch. And then he throws the ball well. They're not throwing the ball a ton, as most option offenses don't. But when they have, they've got some threats, and it's very concerning because you got to commit a lot of guys to the run. And so your DBs sometimes are out there in one-on-one situations.
You alluded to their defense earlier. Their last game against Clemens, a 23-0 loss. They held the Buffaloes to only 3 touchdowns in the game, only 10 first downs the entire game as well. Looking at the play of Wagner's defense, what challenges will they present to you offensively?
Well, they're very multiple, for one thing, as we mentioned earlier. And so just who are they, where are they, how are they lining up, who do I block? And it may be different the next play because they have a different alignment. And a lot of blitz. and good athletes doing it. So just knowing what to do is one thing, and then traditionally through the years they've given us trouble moving the football against that style of defense. So we'll have our work cut out for us on that side of the ball as well.
You mentioned throughout the years you have some history with Wagner, whether that's in district play or in non-district, and it seems like the one prevailing theme every year is that they are not lacking in athletes.
No, they're not. They're not, and you know, we'll have to be on our P's and Q's, and we'll have to do things just right. On the other hand, that's our culture. That's kind of what we try to do every week, and so I don't think that's a strategy that suddenly is unique to Wagner. And hey, this week we're going to try to do that. It'll be more of the same, but there's no question our preparation will have to be different because they look different than other opponents.
Well, Coach, good luck against Wagner.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Again, Smithson Valley takes on the Thunderbirds a week from this Friday, October the 13th. That is a 7:30 kickoff there from Converse, and we'll have live coverage available for you on RangersNetwork.com. For Smithson Valley head coach Larry Hill, I'm Brain Freeman. This has been Inside Rangers Football. Thanks as always for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.